Chapter 17. The Hunted Path. The Bloodwild's crimson canopy loomed over the fleeing group, its gnarled trees dripping acid sap that hissed on the forest floor. Dylan carried Arla, her small frame trembling against his chest, while Lyss hobbled beside him, her Starshatter-dazed steps guided by Zariel's steady hand. Veyr led, a shadow slicing through the jungle's tangle, his twin swords sheathed but ready, his leathers stained with thornskull gore. The distant shouts from Bitterroot, guards or Redfang's men hunting Torm's killer, faded into the jungle's drone, but the threat clung like damp rot. Dylan's starry scars pulsed, a faint burn under his tunic, as if Eryndor itself marked him for slaying the Mayor. His crippling doubt whispered failure, but the corrosive guilt absorbed from Torm's blood gnawed deeper, an acid searing his soul for the caged children left behind, their glassy eyes haunting him. Torm's charismatic persuasion hummed in his veins, a tool that had swayed guards but felt like a traitor's gift, tainting every word. They reached a small clearing, a scar in the jungle, where a fallen tree oozed glowing sap, its roots clawing the red soil. Veyr signaled a halt, his grey eyes scanning the shadows, ears catching the snap of distant twigs. 5 minutes, he growled, voice low. Catch your breath, but stay sharp. Redfang's got our scent, and bitter roots stirring like a kicked hive. Dylan set Arla down, her dark eyes wide but clearing, her small hand gripping Lyss's. Lyss sank to a root, her bruised arms trembling, breath ragged from the drug's grip. Zariel crouched, bow ready, his moss-green cloak blending with the undergrowth, elf senses probing for pursuers. Dylan's chest tightened, the corrosive guilt surging as he pictured the compound's cages. 40 children, 6 to 16, Starshatter doled, left to horrors he couldn't unsee. We can't just leave them, he said, voice raw, breaking the silence. Those kids, we know where they are. We could go back, hit the compound again, free them. Veyr's lip curled, a wolf's snarl. You're dreaming, boy. We barely got out with 2. You want to storm a fortress with what? Your dagger and a death wish? Redfang's got numbers, and Torm's allies will be crawling over Ashenvire by dawn. You'd save none and die trying. Dylan's fists clenched, Torm's charisma urging him to argue, but the guilt choked his words. They're kids, Veyr, like Arla, like Lyss was. We left them to that. His voice cracked, Arla's terror flashing in his mind, the caged faces accusing him. Zariel's luminous eyes met Dylan's, heavy with sorrow. The jungle's cruel, Dylan, but Veyr speaks true. We don't know who pulls the strings. Corren named Torm, but others, councilmen, Valorian lords, maybe Aelther, could be deeper in this rot. We strike blind, we hit a hydra's head, and more grow. Lyss's voice, frail but sharp, cut through. They're right. I saw men in the compound. Nobles, cloaked, with star gem rings. Not just bandits. If you go back, they'll know you, Dylan. They saw your face. Her eyes flicked to Arla, guilt mirroring Dylan's. I want to save them too, but we lose everyone. Dylan's jaw tightened, the corrosive guilt a vice. So we run? Leave them to be sold or worse? What's the point of saving you two if I'm just picking who lives? His voice shook, Torm's charisma slipping, raw pain spilling out. The doubt hissed he was no hero, just a fraud playing at savior. Veyr stepped close, his scarred face hard, but his tone softer, a rare crack in his armor. You're not picking, boy. You're surviving. Lose third principle. Know the battle's shape. In that Crindar cell, he taught me to see the fight before swinging. This ain't just Redfang, it's a web, and we don't know its threads. Torm's death bought us time, but it painted a target. We go back now, we're dead, and those kids stay caged. Live, plan, hit when you know the enemy's throat. Dylan's scars burned, the guilt roaring, but Veyr's words landed like a blade. He saw the children's faces, felt their weight, but Zariel's nod and Lyss's plea grounded him. "So what's the plan?" he asked, voice steadier, Torm's charisma shaping his resolve. "We hide, then what?" Zariel's voice was calm, like a river over stone. "North, to Corren's Hollow. The hermit's mad, but his wards keep beasts and men at bay. We shelter there, let Bitterroot's chaos settle, learn who's tied to this trade. My kin know paths through the Bloodwild, safe, hidden. Lyss and Arla need rest, healing." Lyss clutched Arla closer, her eyes fierce despite her frailty. "I'll help. I know faces from the compound. If we find them, we cut this web." Veyr grunted, approving. "Good, but we move fast. Redfang's trackers are no fools, and Rinso's sniffing around. Boy, your scars and that mayor's blood make you a prize. Keep that charm sharp, but don't let guilt dull your edge." He glanced at the jungle, a rustle stirring his hackles. "Time's up. Move!" They pushed deeper into the Bloodwild, Veyr carving a path through vines that bled green when cut. Dylan carried Arla, her weight a reminder of his choice. The corrosive guilt, a constant ache. His charisma hummed, a tool to sway allies or foes, but each step felt like a betrayal of the caged. The doubt whispered he'd fail Zorath's quest, fail Lyss, fail himself, but Veyr's principle, know the battle's shape, gave him a lens to see clear. The jungle's drones swallowed their steps, but behind, a hound's bay echoed, Redfang's pursuit closing. A Starshatter vision flickered, crimson vines, a crystal blade, Calith's chant, hinting his scars tied him to the Starshrine, to Aelther's rot. Dylan gripped his dagger, the Bloodwild's jaws wide, his path a blade's edge between guilt and survival.